Benny? Chair recognizes the Honourable Member for Fox Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to first offer my condolences to the Edgecombe family on the passing of Mrs. Clementina Edgecombe, the matriarch of their family and the widow of the late Frank Edgecombe, who is the Member of Parliament for Fox Hill for 10 years in this place. She passed away this morning after a short illness. And once again, I extend my condolences to all of the children and to the wider Fox Hill family. Secondly, I do want to remind people that the race is going to take place in Bimini tomorrow. I've been practicing. I'm going to run a record for 3 miles, beginning in... No, he's the starter. He has the starting gun. Run. Run, yeah. It's a 3 mile race, so no, not too bad. Mr. Speaker, I listened with interest to the list of accomplishments by the Member of Parliament for Long Island listed for the Free National Movement. And the predicate of which was that she was criticizing the Progressive Liberal Party because, my words, we have not walked the walk, even though we've talked the talk with regard to support for workers and for the social rights of Bahamians. And then there was this laundry list of things which were accomplished by the Free National Movement, and no doubt some of the things were accomplished by the Free National Movement. But, you know, what I know is that in 1972 you opposed independence for the Bahamas. That's what you did. Let's start there.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't even worry.
No, you opposed independence. So we wouldn't have been a free country. We wouldn't have been a free country. Answer the first question. You opposed independence. You wanted to remain a slave. That's what you wanted to do. Talking about Emancipation Day.
Member for Fox Hill.
I take it back. I withdraw.
Member for Long Island.
To the Constitution of the Bahamas. This is the very same member.
No. That's out of order. It's out of order. It's out of order. It's out of order. Now, member for Long Island, that's an abuse of this chair.
That's what we're talking about.
That's an abuse of the House. And it's inappropriate for you to stand up here and say that.
Did you oppose independence?
And then
Member for Fox Hill.
Yeah, then Mr. Speaker, it says all this stuff about national insurance and so on and so on. But you oppose national insurance! You oppose national insurance. You oppose national insurance, so don't talk. Bragging, empty. You oppose national insurance. You oppose national insurance. No, that's right. You went with them. Sorry, yes, sir.
No, he fought.
Member for Fox Hill?
Yes.
They almost killed him.
The chair would prefer that you started off at full flight at 30,000 feet. The chair would prefer that you start at least 10 miles and slowly build.
I was provoked
Because you've become awfully provocative very, very quickly. Now we understand you're eager to answer the members, but to avoid some ruckus unnecessarily in the House, the chair will ask you to use your able experience and capable experience to articulate your point of view in such a way that it doesn't evoke so much emotion.
Yes.
Very well.
Speaker, we would like to help you, man.
That's all the training. That's all the
I,
training.
yes,
Slow down.
yes,
Slow down,
yes.
training.
Kinda,
Coach.
kinda and gentler.
That's all the training.
Kinda and gentler. Anyway, I would end it this way by saying, to the Member of Parliament for Long Island, we could tangle spiders in the webs you weave.
That's right.
Yeah, figure out what oh, what a web we weave when we practice to deceive. Walter Scott said it.
That's right.
Yeah. We could tangle spiders in the webs you weave. Mr. Speaker, in supporting this resolution, I recalled in our history the Burma Road riots of the 1st and 2nd of June 1942. This has been the subject of many examinations and stories. It is clear that what the riots of 1942 did was to crystallize the labor movement in the Bahamas. And indeed, it is thought to be the start of the modern political history of the Bahamas. The political hero of the riots of 1942 was Milo Butler. There were two committees. One was a House Select Committee.
Members, West, Grand Bahama, and Bimini, and Long Island. You are both being a bit disruptive to the member for Fox Hill and the chair. Member for Fox Hill, you have the floor.
Thank you. As I say, the political hero of the riots of 1942 was Milo Butler. There were two committees which studied this incident. One was a House Select Committee dominated by the Bay Street Boys and headed by Stafford Sands. The other, a commission of inquiry appointed by the Duke of Windsor, who was then the governor of the Bahamas, and headed by Sir Allison Russell, KC, with Herbert McKinney and Herbert Brown. Both reports are worth reading. The more definitive report is the report of the Commission of Inquiry of 1942. All of the commentaries say that the immediate issue and cause of the riots was the question of the disparity between the wages paid to Bahamian workers on the job and to non-nationals on the job. The average Bahamian wage in 1936 was pegged at 2 shillings a day. 2 shillings a day, 1936. There were about 2 shillings a day, Mr. Speaker, if you translate that into the modern currency, with the pound being $2.86, would translate into about 28 cents a day. So Bahamian laborers in 1936, the standard working wage for Bahamian laborers in 1936 was 28 cents a day. Now, the American company that was building what is now Windsor Field was a company called Pleasantville. And they were prepared to pay Bahamian blacks and laborers $2 per day, which would be, in the sterling currency, 12 shillings. Michael Creighton describes this proposal as a revolution. But instead, the government of the day agreed that unskilled labor should instead get 4 shillings per day, or 56 cents. There was also the report that Bahamian truckers were getting 1 shilling per hour, which is 14 cents. But the American truckers on the job were getting $1.50 per hour, approximately 10 times more than the Bahamian truckers were being paid. Or in sterling, that means that while Bahamian truckers were getting 1 shilling per hour, the Americans were getting 12 shillings per hour. Now, the American company and their management let the Bahamian workers know that they were prepared to pay all the workers more without discrimination. But it was the government of the day that decided to prevent it. And the result was that there was a riot which led to 2 deaths, 25 injuries, and it was said to have started out here on Bay Street when someone threw a bottle from a Coca-Cola truck parked on Bay Street and smashed the window, and the riot ensued. 2 deaths, 25 injuries. The laborers' wages were later raised from 4 shillings per day to 5 shillings a day, which in today's money translates into 70 cents per day. So Bahamian laborers in 1942 were being paid 70 cents a day to work to build the Windsor Field, which is now the Lyndon Pindling International Airport. The more important point, though, is that all of this led to the following, according to Sir Clifford Darling. On the 1st of March, 1943, the House of Assembly dealt with the following: a bill for an act relating to permitting trade unions to organize, a bill for an act to provide for the payment of compensation for workers, a bill for an act relating to the hours of work for shop assistants to provide that females may not be employed for more than 8 hours from Monday to Thursday, and a bill for an act to provide for pensions for aged persons. The important point I wish to raise here, then, is as we support this resolution, it is that wages are important. That is trite but significant. Without a proper wage, there'll be social disorder. And when you want to fool with a man, just fool with his money, and you'll see what happens. You're playing with fire. And that is why, sir, I support 100% the statement of the Minister of Labor on the deductions for union dues. I support it 100%. I support all that he has said here today on this resolution. And I join him in deploring how the matter of the gratuities for workers at the Malia Resort are being handled. It is simply reprehensible. And what appears to be happening is that the gains of workers forged over these many decades are being reversed, and this generation of leaders must try to put a stop to it. I support this minimum wage increase. It is not enough. Yes, they support it too. It's not enough. But at this time, they say we can't do more. And I've said that in immigration, I was just speaking about this last week, I found out that when you say, for example, or when employers often argue, like one has argued in Bimini or elsewhere, that they can't find Bahamians to do the work. Always hear that. Oh, you can't find Bahamians to do that. You can't find Bahamians to do this, including live-in maids, gardeners, and ordinary laborers throughout the country. And my argument is that the real problem is not that you can't find the workers, you can't find the workers at the price you are offering for their labor. And so as far as those workers are concerned, they're better off not taking your job. And often I wonder if a device is not being used on these construction jobs where you offer a specific salary. I think $10 an hour may be the going rate for semi-skilled carpenter or mason, and that's the market rate. And you say to that person, yeah, I'll pay you $10 an hour. And then when you show up on the job and on the first payday, they say, sorry, we decided to change, it's $5 an hour. And then when you pay him $5 an hour, you say, take it or leave it. The person quits. And then you go to immigration and say, and to the Department of Labor and say, we can't find any Bahamians to work on our job. I wonder if that's not happening many places around the country. And one argument is that if we are to eliminate work permits that are being offered in these low-wage categories, then it might be that wages have to increase. I want to also draw, sir, on the way it is necessary for us to speak up and support this legislation and to support what is happening for workers and to oppose the attack on workers. You know, during the Burma Road riots, there turned out to be two kinds of leaders in that day. Sir Clifford Darling remembers Bert Cambridge and Milo Butler and Charles Rodriguez. And then there were the accommodationists who found every excuse to apologize, to provide excuses, to plead with the workers to stop back from the breach. And it sounds so much like the situations we have today, where, you know, you have to apologize to the master if you're the servant for what you demand. And plenty of us, we want to talk this talk about emancipation, but don't understand in the modern context what it means. So it's not surprising that as soon as you attack some overlord in these days, some of his friends, servants, and agents will start singing their song with buzzwords like inappropriate and out of order and belligerent. And you shouldn't be saying it and you shouldn't behave like that.
Member for East Grand Bahama? Yo.
I just wondered who was the overlord. I just wanted, in this country, I thought we had, we were all independent and we had freedom of speech and freedom of association. I just wondered who the overlords were that he was referring to.
Very well. Member for Fox Hill?
Lord help us, Mr. Speaker. That's all I can say. Lord help us. You know, I want them to read. There's a very interesting novel by Harriet Beecher Stowe. It's called Uncle Tom's Cabin. They need to read it. They need to read it. This country needs to read it. It talks about what happens, how you must stand up and fight for freedom. Very interesting novel. Perhaps it'll help us all to stiffen our spines. But I only want to leave this message as I support this bill, Mr. Speaker. It's written by Bob Marley. It says, old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my head was made strong by the hands of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. So won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Because all I ever had was redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them can stop the time. How long shall we kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. So won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Because all I ever have, redemption songs. Redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, because none of them can stop the time. How long will they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help me sing these songs of freedom? Because all I ever had, redemption songs. Redemption songs, Mr. Speaker. That's what I want them to remember. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. I support this bill.